G'day guys and welcome back to the JFBS SuperCoach channel. And today what we're going to go through is the Port Adelaide Powers team review going into the AFL 2026 season for SuperCoach. If you haven't checked out the other videos, go check them out. I've been posting team reviews for all of the other teams so far in the alphabetical order and going to do the rest soon as well. They'll all be posted. It's around 2 a day, I think, starting maybe the day that this comes out, maybe yesterday. There's another couple days. So we're posting basically a team review every day, which is really, really nice. Today, we are doing the Port Adelaide Power. But before we go into my personal opinions, let's go over to Nerds for Life. I've mentioned in every other video, this guy is an absolute legend. What he does, he gets track watch sources. They let him know. He puts it into or when I say lets him know, they post it. He compiles it into a summary of notes here and then shares it on Twitter for the SuperCoach and AFL Fantasy as well. That community, what players are doing well during their preseason training days. I don't know. But yeah, today there's only one for Port Adelaide, which is fine. We've had 0 before. This was a bit recent as well. This was the 23rd of January. So we got Todd Marshall played with the defenders and had kick-ins. So 147k forward. Very nice. We'll get to him later. The Butters 454k mid looked great. Was taking players on through the middle and appears ready for a solid 2026. Rosé played in the midfield. It's likely because they'd have failed 2 sides, has trained with defenders in other sessions. Still has a high ceiling when in CBAs anyway and lined up at half back. Miles Bergman played on Rosé through the midfield in a defensive role. Brodie was great in the CBA action, was a clearance machine today. What else is there? Georgiades was rotated through the midfield, actually looked good. I'm going to keep an eye on this one. Can I fit more Port Adelaide players in my side? Paul Francis was running laps with a slight limp. Vizentini performed solidly against Sweet and is pushing to force his way into the side. Could they line up with a dual rucks? Soldo, ruck forward, lined up as a deep forward. Burgoyne rotated between halfback and wing. So that's the notes from Nerds for Life. Thank you once again. Now we're going into my opinions on each of the team, or the players, I mean. Start from bottom to back line to forwards. Kane Farrell. I rate him. I think an 88 average is pretty decent for him, and I can definitely see him averaging more. I think he has had a few hundred games as well, knowing that, it's an 88. He's probably had games of 70 and 60 and had as high as 120. But look, there's a reason why 0% are going with him. He's not going to push the needle to, average more points. So just keep an eye and just be aware of that when you're picking him. But to be fair, 0% are going with him, so I don't expect someone's going to go, oh, let me go get him. Yeah. Miles Bergman, 12% have got him. I originally had him, and I had to get rid of him because just a couple question marks. I need to see it in action before I really solidify him as for the opportunity to play on my team. But 447k, it's actually not bad, and he's running through the middle. He'll be playing that defensive role. Now, when you say that straight away, you're going, oh, no, I'm going to have to say no. But hear me out. I know I don't have him, which means it doesn't mean that you shouldn't go for him. It's your choice. But the pros for him there in the middle is that we've done it on his AFL summary here. Sorry, we've still got Robert Hanson's from the last video. Miles Bergman. Come on. Okay. We've done it before. CBA. So these are all the games at CBA. It was a 90 average, which is 8 more. That's great. Now let's take away the ones under, let's just do under 20. So 1, 2, 3. It's an average of 99. Take away the 25, so under 30. It's 103. 103. If he can average that for SuperCoach, which I think he definitely can, he's a tackling machine. So I reckon he could be somewhere nowhere near, not when I say nowhere near, when I say this next person's name, I'm not saying that that's the potential he's got, but he's going to be playing like him, so he might average a good score for you. Is a Josh Dunkley. He's a defensive type mid in that Brisbane midfield, and he definitely gets scoring points. He tackles a lot. Bergman does as well. We can definitely see him averaging a 103. Take about that 25. It's 107. How good is that? It's a pretty nice looking run. I mean, why do I not do that? Oh, no, because it's 11. I thought that was a 57 there. But yeah, Miles Bergman, if I could, I would. I would definitely have him on my side. But, the flex there prevents you having an extra 100 and something K, which is very annoying because I'd try my best to get Bergman in. But at the moment, I don't have him on my team. After preseason, we'll definitely have a look at what my side will look like. Bergman can definitely get back in. Don't just mind you that it's not like if Bergman's just out of my team in general. I don't trust him. I can trust him. I think he'll do really well this year. I'm just going to have a look for preseason, and if he convinces me well enough, you might see an extra little like a mid-price guy in my defense. My defense is kind of, or like there's a lot of defensive like rookie prices, which is going to be really hard unless we play him in that flex position there. Moving on, I was going to say Miles Burgoyne. I don't think there's ever been a Miles Burgoyne as far as I'm concerned. Jace Burgoyne, 401, has been swapping with wing half back as we read from the notes before. It's just the reason why only 1% have gone with him. I don't think he's going to push the needle to average more. Alia, Radaglia, Logan Evans, Zerk Thatcher, and Lockie Jones just going to go and put a line across their names. Flat out, no. All right, going to the midfield, Zach Butters. How many people own him? 53. I don't know what the other 47 are doing, but I think he is a definite lock, in my opinion. Why is he a definite lock? It's because of everyone's talked about, Port Adelaide's schedule. It's amazing. That's all I'm going to say because you've heard it 1,000 times. He's an instant captain for like 5 weeks. So why not go for him? He's going to be in your top 8 players in your midfield here. So why not have him? He's the second highest player in the midfield. Why not have him? Like, there's nothing that you can convince me not to have him in your side unless he gets injured in the preseason, which he has last year. But then he came out flying. He went up to 730K, I'm pretty sure, 750. He was no one could afford him. But then he take down in price, back to an affordable price where people got him. 650K, I think, is really good for him. 121. You can't convince me otherwise to not go with him. He's a definite lock, and I think you guys all need to grab onto him. Sorry. You all need to get onto him. Got to have him in your side, is what I'm trying to say. Connor Rozee is the other guy that I'm going to say that is a lock on your side. There's a couple Port guys that are. Connor Rozee, 105, defender mid. I would have him in the defense here, but there's so many like Port Adelaide defenders that run through that lineup, and he's just another guy. He's definitely got that halfback role locked. Josh Carr was actually the guy that was like, let's push Rozee halfback last year, and that's where he really excelled his SuperCoach points. So definitely he's going to be staying there, knowing that Josh Carr is the head coach now. Rozee, I think he's also a lock. There's nothing else there's nothing much that he does wrong. He's a very consistent 100 average player. Like, it's not like he has too many like 60s or 50s or 70s or 80s. So I reckon you definitely go for him. If you look at the defenders, like the highest price and averages, he is in top 6. So look, there's another reason to go for him. Jason Horne-Francis, 1%. It's a nice pod play, I won't lie. 94, but we've seen him score a 50 and a 60, and his price takes it around 400. He can definitely get up to where his ceiling's like 150, 140. So you can definitely go for him. He's just lost his forward status, which is really annoying. And you've already got Zach Butters in your middle, and you kind of want to avoid having 2 of the same team in your top 8 by the end of the season. And I think with Horne-Francis and Butters, it's not going to be that great. Horne-Francis also missed 8 games last year, so just put that into a perspective as well. So I'm just going to say don't go for him. Ollie Wines, look, no one's got him for the reason of that he's not going to be averaging you more points than the next. Like, the guy next. Like, I think we're paying 40K extra to get Sam Walsh and Will Ashcroft, who I think are going to average more and potentially break out this season, especially Sam Walsh. I just don't think you go for Wines. Same with Willem Drew, where we came from GWS last year, I believe. Mead, Moraes, just going to put a line across their name and say no. Rucks are going to be very interesting. We've got Soldo, who's probably not going to get a game for them unless they're playing him deep forward and they're running Georgiades through the middle. If they're going to be running him in the middle, then potentially Van Soldo might be playing forward, but I don't see it happening, honestly. Georgiades, I don't really care how good of a midfielder he is. They've got enough great mids in that mix. They can afford to have Georgiades in the forward line. But yeah, going back to Soldo, I don't really see him getting a game unless Dante, Visentini, and Sweet are injured. But going to Visentini and Sweet, like we read, Visentini looks like he's in front of Sweet, but Sweet also, that's very 50-50. It's very, like, it's on par with Essendon and how there's no one knows what's going on there. They've got some very cheap rucks, but I wouldn't go for Sweet or Visentini yet. They might play the double ruck like Brisbane are. Essendon will probably do it. I think quite a few teams will do it with that fifth guy on the bench. Can definitely happen with Visentini and Sweet. Just to give a different perspective and, different game plan for, what time in the quarter. And I would probably lean towards more Visentini because he's cheaper and potentially in front of Sweet. But at this current moment, I would not say go for either of them, in my opinion. Going to the forwards, we talked about Georgiades a bit. It'd be very interesting. 1% have got him in their side, and he's potentially playing in the middle. I don't think he'll actually stay there. They're probably just experimenting because I think Josh Carr is a guy that will be experimenting a lot, considering that you've got, Connor Rozee going down back and he's really excelled. Georgiades can definitely do that. He's a very agile forward. But I just don't think they can afford to have him up forward because you've got Todd Marshall going back. You've got Lukosius, who's he's between medium size and very tall. So I guess tall. I don't know if that sounds dumb, but he's not quite a tall forward. He's 192 or something like that. Your tallest forward's 198, around that Tom Lynch height where he about 2 meters tall. But yeah, Georgiades, probably not worth it. Joe Richards, going to say no. Sam Powell-Pepper absolutely saved me last year, and I nearly got rid of him when he scored that 18, and then he went on a massive run where he averaged about an 80 or 90, and I was on cloud 9, I'll be honest. That was he was the pick that I went, I feel like it explodes. But it was probably just the luck of the draw. Not a lot of people had him, so that was really good for me, and he was probably one of the best cash makers for forwards. But for this year, you're going to have to say no. He did get injured, and that's, I think, when I got rid of him. There's a reason why 0% have got him. So don't go with him. Burne-Jones, worst All-Australian of all time. Can't believe Nick Vlastuin doesn't have a All-Australian, but this bloke does. Can you believe that he's 30? Or close to 30? I don't know. I just felt like he's just 2014. 2014, that was his first year. He is 30. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Yeah, he's 30, 31. That's insane. He's retiring 2 years. I think maybe it was because that was because I won't reveal my actual age, but it's like when you're first paying full attention to AFL and you're watching every game as a kid. You've only got Channel 7 or something like that. He was there probably, and that's why I think that he hasn't been in the league for that long. I'd say about 8 years, definitely not 2014. I was going to say maybe 2018, but that's the most I'd go. But yep, he's got an All-Australian. Nick Vlastuin doesn't. That's another conversation for another day. But yeah, don't go near him. Lukosius, no. Durden, no. Lord, no. Marshall, in my opinion, is going to be a lock for my forwards. I've got in my side. How many people have him in their own side? 36. Only 36. I'm surprised by that. I think he'll be definitely good. Potentially like a Sam Powell-Pepper where he gets up to around 350K, 400K. Definitely easy upgrade for other areas of your ground, for like your midfield or your defense. Very nice. He'll definitely get the DPP status as well. So if there's not many guys in the back line at this current moment, or like, in 8 weeks down the line, and you can move him there, perfect. Then you can have another forward up here. But yeah, Marshall, he's an absolute definite. Josh Sin, we're just going to go on a limb and say no. All right, let's go with the guys that I have not got on this squad here. Van Solid already talked about. Lorenz played 6 games, going to say no. Liddy, no. McKinlay, no. Joe Berry, he'll play, but still no. Whitlock, no. Cochrane, I think he's got something on. Maybe an injury, might be saying something weird. Ram, oh my God, Anastasopoulos. Yeah, that's the best I think I'll get. Barrett, I mean, I don't know anything about him. 54% of people have got Will Brodie for a good reason. He's been getting definite CBA action, but a lot of people are skeptical. I'm a little bit. He's still in my side because there's not many 119K guys that I am like convinced that will be better than him, but definitely a guy to look out for the preseason games. I mean, I've got him for good reason that, Josh, he played under Josh Carr and Fremantle. He was like his right-hand man kind of thing. Like, he was really good. So those two are close. You think he might play, but it's hard to get into that midfield where you've got Butters, Wines, Drew, you've got Bergman, Horn Francis will have a go, Rosie will have a go. You've obviously seen Georgiades have a go. It's going to be hard for him. And it's kind of hard to go, hoping for injuries in that midfield, as bad as it sounds that you'd want to, but that's probably the best case scenario. It's someone that's injured and he's kind of got that slot, or he's the 23rd man in that team. I don't know. I haven't seen Will Brodie in a while, so I don't know if he's like a guy that you can play somewhere else, because they could definitely play him on a wing, could play him half forward. Even if he's playing half forward, that's still fine. But yeah, definitely an option to keep. Lay, Moss, Walsh, Watkins, going to say no. But yeah, that's going to do it for me. Let me know if there are any guys that I didn't talk enough about that you think are going to be a lot better than what I think, or if there's guys that I've talked about quite highly about and you don't think they're going to be good. Please let me know. Let me know about anything. Port Adelaide are definitely a team to watch. They've got a lot of different players to consider for your SuperCoach lineup. Talked about it in the North video that they've got that round 12 bye, so you've got to really kind of pace yourself with how many Port Adelaide and North Melbourne players you're going with, because they're some great options and all 3 of them don't have that early bye. So just remember that as well. But yeah, that's going to do it for me. Hopefully you guys have a good one, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.